G'day, mate. How can I help you?
Just a lager, please.
You're British, right? You want it warm?
That's not really a thing.
I've definitely had a warm beer in London.
Cold as it comes, please. All right, gang. Roz here.
What was that?
Sorry, I'm recording a story. For my followers?
Are you now? Whatever that means. Don't mind me.
All right, guys. Roz here. About to be meeting with the big shot. You know, the you-know-who who's here to purchase the you-know-what. Wish me luck.
Here you go.
Oh, thank you. How much do I...
No charge.
What? You don't have to do that.
Your big shot? He's paying.
Oh, good. Well, I wouldn't want you out of pocket. Must be tough running this place. You're not exactly rushed off your feet, are you?
He heard you wanted privacy. Booked the whole joint.
I see. That's why it's so empty. Did he book the whole town as well? I mean, I know it's pretty small, but I didn't see a soul out there.
I'm still here.
I suppose you are. Well, I've put a good report in the video anyway. Might get you a bit of traffic.
Why would we want more cars?
No reason.
I'll fetch him for you, shall I? He's out back. Take a seat.
Gang, the barmaid's just gone to get him. He's booked out the whole place. Sounds like he's Mr. Moneybags. I could be quids in here.
Roz Green?
You the guy?
The guy? Yes, I suppose I'm very much the guy. The name's Harry Sullivan. Thank you, Gretchen.
Pleasure.
So, Roz, may I call you Roz?
Sure.
I hear you have a package I could be interested in.
Yeah, What's that noise?
You know, I'm not entirely... Get down!
It's a bit empty, isn't it, down there? And big. Deserts tend to be, I find. Well, they call it the Red Centre. I can see why. And there's a lot more of it to see. We're still a good half hour away. So much flying. Well, Australia is on the other side of the world. I know. But you'd have thought with all the technology at our disposal, we'd have developed an intercontinental teleportation system by now. It'd certainly improve our carbon footprint. I suppose we did at least get a few good in-flight movies. And you're about to get another one. Oh, I should have brought popcorn. So I'm finally going to find out what's happening out here. I mean, I get that it's Unit Australia's show, and we shouldn't exactly be getting involved. But you could still have given me the basics. It's an ongoing situation, apparently. Best I brief you with the most complete information. I'm not entirely up to speed myself.
Hi, gang. Roz here. Giving you some love from down under.
Right. Well, this doesn't seem our usual thing.
Not yet.
Another night out under the stars. I mean, have you ever seen the sky so big? Honestly, that's the best thing about being in the desert. You can see so many more stars. I mean, that one, that's really big, actually. Whoa!
The videos are quite short. I don't entirely understand. They're called stories, apparently. I see. And what's the story here? It's a little clearer in the next one.
All right, gang. Roz again. If you saw my last video, you'll know I just saw a meteorite crash. I'm going to take a quick look, just for you. Here we go. Wait. That's not a meteorite.
It certainly isn't. That's an Ice Warrior shuttle.
Well recognized. That's worth 10 points in the I Spy Book of Alien Spacecraft.
Well, you did say they were involved, but crashing in the boiling desert. Poor things. Well, you've got to feel sorry for the crew. They must have roasted.
Yes.
And she's the only one who saw? Who is she?
A backpacker called Ros Green. Of Barnet. A very enterprising young lady. She's attempting to get herself a social media profile. I'm told it's something people can do for a living these days.
Oh, it is. You can make quite a bit of money from what I hear.
More power to them, I say. It's not exactly my thing, but the world moves on.
How many people have seen this?
Mercifully few. She hasn't quite managed to turn her recordings into a viable career yet. She doesn't have many followers. Our algorithms detected these videos and locked the feed almost as soon as she posted them. We're the only ones who can see her footage now.
I'm glad to hear it. It wouldn't take long for something like this to snowball.
Not the best metaphor to use in this heat.
I suppose not. So I see we've got to salvage the crash, obviously. Can't let it fall into the wrong hands. But what's this got to do with Lieutenant Sullivan? Doesn't seem his field.
It's not. You see, the problem isn't the crashed spaceship. The problem is what was inside. But don't worry about Lieutenant Sullivan. He's very experienced. I'm sure he can handle it.
What was that?
An explosion! Isn't it obvious? We're under attack.
Gang, you are never going to believe what's happened.
What are you doing?
Can everyone just stop ruining my takes, please?
You can't record this.
Someone just blew in the front of the bar. That is like serious hits.
Serious trouble, more like. They're not going to leave it at that. They're coming for us.
Who are?
How am I supposed to know? Well, those chaps, presumably.
Whoa, who are they?
Quick, behind the bar, before they see us.
Are they robots?
Very probably. Get down! Now then, there's a back door. Through there. You brought a car, yes?
Yeah. I think they're searching for us.
Also very likely. Well done. Now, hold on. Did you see? Are you still filming?
No.
If you're hiding from them, it's best you don't show them your phone.
It's got a camera. I was just using it like a periscope.
I'm sure. Well, they're bound to look back here eventually. So we need to go. Back door, then your car. Agreed?
All right. I suppose.
No filming.
No.
After 3, then. 1, 2, 3.
I think they spotted us.
Yes, I've got that feeling too. Your car?
Over there. Here, you can drive.
All right. Yes, thanks for whatever this is, but I'll need a key.
That is a key.
It is?
Just press the button.
Good Lord. How very futuristic.
Okay. The button. There. Put your foot down and press the button.
Oh, and an automatic as well. Fantastic.
It has to be. It's a hybrid.
It's a what?
Where are you from? Do you have literally no understanding of the modern world?
Well, funny you should say that.
D for drive. Okay, move it to D and we go.
Goodness me, that's a trifle unnerving. I can't even hear the engine.
You better leave me to do the aircon. Next time, I'm driving.
Maybe that's best. Actually, why aren't you driving? It's your car.
I can't do a video while I'm driving.
Oh, now come on.
Hey gang, Roz here. You are not gonna believe what's happened. We were attacked by these, 6-foot robots.
You've gone awfully quiet.
We're now in the car, on the run, and we... What did you just say?
They were shooting after us, but they didn't seem to follow us. There's nothing in the rearview mirror, so where the devil are they?
Whoa! Is that a spaceship?
Yes, I rather suspect it is.
Medic, please. I require a medic.
It's alive.
Yes.
But in the Australian outback, the temperature.
Intriguing, isn't it?
They're not good with heat, ice warriors. There's a clue in the name.
Which is rather what got our people's interest. Well, we were already interested, but this turned that interest up to 11.
The colour was a bit off, too. Well, we haven't seen orange ice warriors before, have we? They tend to be a pretty standard green. Some kind of sickness? It did want a medic.
Exactly, and with our most experienced doctor on hand at a local conference, he seemed the obvious person to send in.
Harry Sullivan, an actual companion of the Doctor. I've always wanted to meet him.
He's almost exactly what you'd expect. Trifle old school, perhaps, but that's understandable in the circumstances.
Almost to be admired, really.
I believe he's meeting Miss Green as we speak, trying to negotiate securing the creature.
Sounds simple enough.
Well, there is one slight complication. She doesn't know who he is. She wasn't interested in medical assistance. She wanted publicity and money.
Oh.
She thinks he's from the newspapers. Oh, and she's just updated her feed. Well, that does suggest the meeting's over.
Any clue how it went?
I'm guessing not well.
Hey team, this whole thing's getting weirder and weirder. First, we were attacked by robots.
Now we're being chased by an actual live spaceship. And it's shooting at us.
But you have to keep narrating everything. It's hard enough concentrating on my driving as it is. I keep wanting to change gear.
I can't just stop. People want to hear what I say. I've got over 100,000 people following me.
What? Like stalking? That's a bit troubling, isn't it? Personally, it's not something I'd be keen to encourage.
She said a spaceship was pursuing them.
Yes, and shooting. I didn't get a good look at it, did you?
Not really. The picture was moving about too much.
Which means we have little in the way of clues as to who they are.
She said robots, but that could be anyone. Anyone robotic, obviously.
I think this case just got a lot more dangerous.
So we need to get out there quickly and defuse it.
What are you doing?
I should be able to get a location trace from her feed. We can redirect and join them an awful lot more quickly.
Tires.
What?
Oh, hold on. Careful,
What's happening?
I think they've crashed.
Survivors?
Both of them, so far.
Good. Let's hope it stays that way.
Oh no. Oh no.
I know. They shot out the blasted tyre.
It was a rental. Oh, I'll lose my deposit.
Yes. Priorities, Miss Green. Speaking of which, will you stop filming?
No, this is gold dust.
Which might be useful if we were dealing with Cybermen, but in these circumstances probably isn't. You can't spend money if you're dead.
You can't spend it if you don't have it either.
We should get away before they come back.
Oh, we couldn't get away from that ship in the car. We're hardly likely to outrun them on foot.
I'm open to suggestions. Did you see where they came down?
I'm guessing right behind us.
Yes, I gathered that. Those look awfully like guns, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Well, that's ominous.
The feed cut out. I'm not happy about that.
Neither am I. But the good news is, I found their signal. I know where they are. We can be there in 5 minutes.
If they're still alive.
But what's happening to them?
I don't know. It looks like they're having some kind of breakdown.
They were here, that's for certain. But they're gone now.
How? That car's a write-off.
Well, there's two options. Spaceship landing marks over there. Tyre marks over there.
Tyre marks?
From their van. That's how they got away. She must have followed them in the van.
Well, come on then. What are you waiting for?
You rather left that to the last minute.
Better the last minute than late.
Wait, you were in the bar. You were the bar girl. Hang on, weren't you Australian?
No, sorry, mate. I was faking it.
What was it? Gretchen?
Yeah, not the best name to pick, Harry. Do I look like a Gretchen?
Well, I was improvising.
Then improvise better.
Ros Green meet Naomi Cross, a colleague of mine.
Naomi Cross? She's here too.
The same event as Lieutenant Sullivan.
Goodness. Any other former companions of the Doctor hiding in the bushes? Maybe even Melanie Bush?
I'm afraid not. It's just the two of them, for now.
You're British, of course. I thought the accent was a bit off.
You want to hear Harry's?
You really don't.
Mine was better, so I got to play the local. Now, come on. The pulse took out their suits, but it won't last all day. In the back.
She must have used a pulse weapon to disable the robots pursuing them.
But it also cut out Roz's phone signal.
Yes,
So I won't be able to track its location until she starts it up again.
but I can't imagine she'll be offline long. But we don't have to wait.
Transceiver in the van.
As standard issue.
Works for me.
I do have one worry, though.
Oh?
We're following them, but I imagine these robot things are too. We need to get back to the plane.
Got to be a cave around here somewhere. A place to get out of sight.
Anti-robot weapons. You newspaper guys have a lot more resources than I'd have expected.
Ah,
Do you want to tell her, or shall I?
Tell me what? You're not from the newspapers, are you?
not exactly.
I'm not getting paid.
No, but you get to stay alive, and that's usually a bonus.
But losing the car, my kit, I'm massively out of pocket here.
Yeah, we've got bigger things to worry about than your bank account.
Who are you people?
We're from the place you call when you find an alien out back. Or, in this case, literally in the outback.
You're the men in black.
No.
I'm not a man, and we're not in black, so I don't get your point.
You've not heard of the men in black? And he couldn't work a keyless car. Where are you from? The 80s?
Well, near enough.
Whoa! Sorry, I just gotta go off-road for a bit. Just spotted a nice little place to hide. All right, you two. Your own lovely air-conditioned cave. Perfect place to get undercover. Harry, fetch the stuff out of the back.
Right you are.
Stuff?
Bedding, campfire. Don't know how long we'll have to hide out here.
Oh.
Don't be too disappointed. It's a good story for your feed.
I don't seem to be able to call them. We can't have much in the way of mobile signal out here.
Don't need it. This thing's connection goes way beyond Wi-Fi.
Oh, you've got them?
I've got them. They seem to be a few miles up ahead, in a cave, judging by the geological data.
I knew they couldn't have got far.
Whoa! What was that?
I'll give you 3 guesses.
It's another Ice Warrior ship.
Yes. Well, that's odd.
Do you think that's the one that was following them?
It seems pretty likely, but why robots? Ice Warriors don't use robots, do they?
We might have to worry about that later. They've located Harry and Naomi.
What is that?
They found us already.
I thought we'd have longer than that.
I need to get this online. Where's my phone?
That's really what you're worrying about.
Oh, I left it in the van. Give me the keys.
If you insist. But you really need to reconsider your priorities.
I'll take that under advisement.
If they keep going like that, there'll be a cave-in.
Right, then we need to do something about that. Pilot, see if you can get in the way of those lasers.
What?
Oh, don't worry. The pilot's alone from Unit Australia. He's very good, apparently.
That's not what's bothering me. Why are we flying into their lasers?
Think about it. You know the Ice Warriors. They're an honorable species.
Sometimes. Sometimes they're incredibly aggressive. Sometimes they're honorable and aggressive.
Entering alien target range, ma'am.
Well, they're usually honorable. Let's go with that. They're willing to attack combatants, but they're not going to be as keen to shoot down innocent bystanders.
But we've no way to be sure those ones are the honourable sort. They might be a breakaway faction or something.
That's a fair point. Fingers crossed then, eh?
Maintain barrage. They must know our strength. What is this?
There is another ship entering our flight path.
Hold fire.
What's that? A plane?
What's it doing up there?
Getting in the way from the looks of it. And I don't know about you, but I ain't complaining.
They've stopped shooting. Looks like it worked.
Except now they seem to have noticed us. So maybe it didn't. Pilot, try to lead them away. Well, they're following at least.
Oh, I'm not entirely sure that's a good thing. Is this plane armed?
It's not unit, it's a private hire.
So no.
No. Do you think you can hail them on my computer?
I can probably manage something.
Then manage it.
They're moving away.
Going after that plane?
Do you ever get the feeling you're missing something?
Do you not get that all the time, Harry? Oh no!
What, the blazes?
That was my van! She took my van!
Ah.
Did you give her the keys?
She said she wanted her phone.
Harry, there's no signal here. Otherwise, I might have called for help.
That's a point.
Something else you missed? Harry, I know this whole mobile phone thing's a bit new for both of us, but at least try to remember the basics. And maybe to be less of a gentleman in times of crisis, okay? Oh, now we're stuck here.
Here we are. Contact is made.
Yes? You would speak with us?
Hello there. Might I know whom I'm addressing?
I am Commander Jacania of the 1st Martian Elite Death Squad.
Well, they sound friendly.
Good day. I'm Kate Stewart of the Unified Intelligence Task Force.
Should I know this organization?
No particular reason, but it would be worth your while to talk with us.
Really? Why do you interfere with our noble pursuit, Kate Stewart?
Because I'm not entirely sure it is noble. 2 of my people are down there. They're trying to help.
We are an elite Martian death squad.
Yes, you said.
We do not need help. Time to clip your wings, pest.
Did she just cut me off? Well, that could have gone better.
And it's just gone even worse!
Engine down!
I don't know who's in that plane, but they're in trouble.
Not as much as we are. That ship's coming back.
Right. You know, I don't think they want to kill us.
Really? You want to tell them that?
Think about it. They could have shot the car up, but they didn't. And they could have blasted that plane from the sky.
Pretty much haven't they?
But only pretty much. Not enough that it can't land, just about.
So what do they want?
I'm guessing we're gonna find out.
Commander, only 2 life forms now detected at target location.
And the third?
Heading swiftly in a southerly direction.
We must identify the one harboring the rogue. The odds are greater that she is at the cave. Continue course, but prepare for landing.
Biosuits activated.
We're coming into land!
I don't think it's called landing in this scenario, Osgood.
Brace for impact.
Oh, thank goodness that's over. You really are very good.
Thank you, ma'am.
I never want to go through anything like that again.
Is everyone all right?
Ma'am.
I wouldn't go as far as all right, but I've been worse.
Then wish me luck. Oh, ow.
Are you okay?
It's just a sprain.
Well, then you can't head over there. You're hurt.
Which is why I'm going to try and see a doctor.
Oh, well, if everyone's doing it. Yeah.
Or at least they've stopped shooting.
See? What did I tell you?
But if they start up again, we're sitting ducks.
So we better hope they don't, yeah?
Where is the rogue?
The rogue?
Don't know what you're talking about.
The fugitive of my species.
They're ice warriors.
But they don't look anything like ice warriors.
In this temperature, of course not.
Environment suits. Oh, good job.
Where is he?
We don't have him. Roz, the girl we were with, she was the one who found him. We're just trying to get him back safely, same as you.
We do not want him back safely.
Same difference, he's your mate.
He is not my mate. Our error must be concealed. Loose ends are to be eliminated.
Now, wait.
Stop! Stop!
Kate Stewart!
Of the Unified Intelligence Task Force.
I'm glad you remembered.
All right, that's unexpected. What are you doing here, ma'am?
Long story that I hope isn't coming to an abrupt end. Jackaneer, may we talk?
Why?
Because I think if we do, we can reach a more diplomatic solution.
You would negotiate.
If that's all the same to you.
You would negotiate, and yet you are unarmed.
Yes, I find it conveys good intentions.
We shoot you down, and yet still you interfere.
Always do what you're best at. That's what I say.
Even with an injury. You are a brave and honorable woman, Kate Stewart.
I'm hoping the same is true of you.
Squad, stand down.
Thank you. Now, tell me, what exactly is going on?
Yoo-hoo! It's me. I'm back. Oh, you are not looking good. I've heard of getting a temperature, but that's ridiculous. Oh, you'll burn this place down if I leave you much longer.
You have brought a medic.
Yeah, change of plan. That didn't work out. We're gonna have to go and find one. Do you mind getting in the back of the van?
Kate!
It's all right, Osgood. The situation has calmed somewhat.
Wow. Ice warrior biosuits. I can see why you mistook them for robots.
Only way they can cope in this heat, I imagine.
Like giant walking refrigerators.
Yes. Sorry, my name's Osgood. I'm Kate's scientific advisor. Big fan.
Right.
Thanks.
Let me guess. The warrior that crashed, you're trying to track him down and eliminate all witnesses.
One of my people has gone rogue. We do not wish this to be widely known.
So you're trying to be discreet?
Correct.
By shooting up a town and flying around in a big spaceship. I can think of easier ways.
Do not test my patience, Kate Stewart.
I wouldn't dream of it. The thing is, the organization I work for, well, discretion is our middle name.
And as I told you, your organization is not known to me.
Which just goes to show how discreet it is. The way you've gone about this so far, it's just going to get attention. But we're the experts at doing these things quietly.
So you say.
You want proof? The town where you ambushed Harry, it was completely empty. We did that. We can do it again.
Interesting.
I mean, it was pretty much a one-horse town, wasn't it? Didn't take much clearing.
Not the time, Harry.
You have the soul of a warrior. Join us.
We're going on board.
If you don't want to stay out here all day.
Kate, I got the pilot to call for rescue.
Then we should be going before someone arrives to pick him up. If we're selling this on secrecy, it would be best to keep things undercover for as long as possible.
Here we go then. I've never been on an Ice Warrior ship before. I suspect it'll be quite cold.
Oh, good.
Yes, is that all you've got to wear?
I'm in the middle of the Australian outback. Funnily enough, I didn't think to pack a sweater.
Stiff upper lip, Harry.
Yeah, it probably will be. Oh, yes. Definitely a bit nippy.
Oh, yeah.
Wait here. We will summon you upon launch.
You know, ma'am, thanks for the rescue and everything.
Oh, that's quite all right.
But what are you doing here? We thought this was a Unit Australia gig.
It's not this gig we're worried about.
Oh?
We need Lieutenant Sullivan's help.
My, I seem to be popular these days. Still, it's good to feel wanted.
Yes, somewhat ironically, you are quite hot right now.
Long story short, a renegade Time Lord with multiple personalities just brought an alien toxin to Earth through a prehistoric gateway.
Right. You know, I'm definitely going to want to hear the long story at some point.
We do have an antitoxin, though. We thought you'd be the man to duplicate it.
I suppose it is, broadly speaking, up my street. Have you got samples with you?
In the bag.
Then I can definitely give it a look over. But in my experience, these things require a lot of research.
That's my favourite kind of research.
I'm saying that with an unknown toxin of extraterrestrial origin, it might be beyond us.
Would it help to have access to extraterrestrial technology?
It might.
So have you considered where we're standing at the moment?
The Ice Warriors.
Well, we're helping them out, so we could offer a quid pro quo. You scratch our back, we scratch yours.
Oh, I wouldn't want them scratching my back. They'd probably break it.
And I'd do my knuckles an injury if I scratch theirs.
Yeah, all pedantry aside, it couldn't hurt to ask.
I think we've taken off.
Come with me.
Then there's no going back now.
It burns! It burns!
Right, yes, that's definitely him.
What happened?
Abiatar was a scientist specializing in extreme temperature conditions. He developed the suits we wore.
Really? Well, they're very impressive.
But cumbersome. He wished to find some method of improving our natural tolerance.
And it went wrong?
He altered his own biology. He proved resistance, but started to absorb heat and energy from the environment. He radiated it.
Which must have made him tricky to get close to.
Yes.
So you tried to cure him?
But he fled. Had he remained, we may have been able to save him. Now, he is lost.
Lost?
If he's absorbing energy, there's no way he can get rid of it. And he certainly can't contain it.
Really? Well, that sounds awfully like you're suggesting he's going to...
Explode. Yes, that is what I'm suggesting.
That is our assessment, too.
A proper explosion. A big one.
Wonderful. Precisely how big an explosion are we talking?
You would do well to keep him clear of population centers.
Well, that's one silver lining. The Northern Territory isn't exactly full of those.
Except the last trace we had was from the van's transceiver, suggesting Roz was heading in the direction of Alice Springs.
And this is a large population center.
Well, relatively, in Australian terms. I looked it up. It's a big town, population of 25,000 or so.
So it is not a large population center.
It's large enough. That's still 25,000 people. I'd prefer to remain alive, if at all possible.
We'd better get someone to call in an evacuation.
Yes, we better had.
Well, of course, it might be of no use whatsoever. We've no idea how soon it will be, and without data on the blast ratio, there's every chance nobody's getting clear in time anyway.
Well, maybe not, but if we can get at least part of the town cleared, it'll certainly make dealing with the problem an awful lot easier. I'll get on to Unit Australia immediately. No, wait. You said the last trace we had of the van.
Yes. It cut out.
The energy the rogue is radiating must have disrupted it.
Oh, that's worrying. You mean we've no way of knowing exactly where they are? Or how close they are to the town?
None whatsoever.
Oh, work, damn you. What's the point of getting the best blasted phone?
We have arrived.
Oh, whoa, God, it must be warmer in there than it is out here.
We have found medical assistance.
Not yet, but we're close. 20 minutes tops. Then I'll have you to the TV station, soon as you know it.
Who will help me?
They'll help one of us, certainly. Damn it, why isn't this working? I could call ahead. All right, just hold on in there. Don't worry, this will all be over soon.
And the next slide, please.
Here you go. Any good?
Promising. You know, you'd think with all this high-tech equipment around, they'd have some means of making a decent cup of tea. Could do with one in this cold.
I reckon we're just gonna have to wait.
How's it looking?
I was just asking that.
Well, I'll have to run a full scan, but I think we might be onto something.
Oh?
That Martian filly has a very detailed database.
Philly.
Sorry, lady?
I don't think we need to be too specific.
Right. Not used to being surrounded by so many impressive women, you see.
I've said it before, Harry. You need to get out more.
Sorry, can we get back to the point? This database of theirs, you're saying they've got a record of the toxin?
Yes, or something very like it. Rather ancient, it has to be said. It's a good few million years old. The sample you've got is a mutation of the one they've got listed.
And is there anything about the antitoxin?
Fortunately, yes. Although it'll need some adapting to match the one we've got.
Then, Osgood, I think I'll leave you with Lieutenant Sullivan to work on that whilst I steal Miss Cross.
Me?
We need to prevent a major incident in Alice Springs. Best we deploy everyone efficiently.
Whatever you say, ma'am. How major are we talking?
Potentially explosive.
Pretty major, then.
How long do we have?
Well, it's hard to say at the moment. I've set up a program to analyze the rogue warrior once we come into contact. That should give us a range of possibilities. That's where you come in, Naomi.
What's this?
If you get close, scan it with that device. It'll do the rest.
I'll take your word for that. Harry tends to deal with the science.
We've called in an evacuation regardless, and we're keeping an eye out for active heat sources. That should send us to the right place.
If we're lucky. And it's probably about time to find out if we are. I'll keep you informed of everything that happens, Osgood.
Mom?
With me, Miss Cross.
On my way.
Right. So, toxin time. Where do we start?
First things first. Do you think there's some means of using these machines to make a good cup of tea?
Watch out! Learn to drive, can't you? Oh, blimey, where's everybody going?
I burn.
Yeah, we're nearly there. We're nearly there, just got a bit of traffic. Okay?
There. That looks like an unusual heat signature, wouldn't you say?
Definitely.
Then that shall be our target. Full speed.
How's the evacuation looking?
Almost total from what I can tell. A few stragglers, but not anywhere she's heading. That area's completely empty.
Jackaneer, if you don't mind me asking.
Asking what?
The thing I said earlier about how it must have been hard to get close to this rogue of yours.
Yes.
Your reaction, it suggested to me that I'd touched a nerve. Was he known to you, some kind of partner?
That is none of your concern. The bonding processes of my species are not for the ears of mammals.
Understood.
There. That is the heat source.
Yes, that's our van.
Plot an interception.
Oh, what now? Why does nothing work in this stupid country? I need to get the aircon going at least. Wait, it's on full. God, so why is it so hot?
But it was our van, at least. It's been obliterated. That poor girl.
That's it? That's the explosion?
Impossible. The scale was too small.
If she had him in the back, with all the heat he's absorbing, he must have detonated the fuel.
Blowing up the van?
Which just gives him more energy to feed on.
We must land. We may be able to detain him.
But then what? Detention's all well and good, but do we have any means of containing the explosion when push comes to shove?
We will bring him on board, fly into orbit, and dump the body in space.
And you really think you'll be able to just bring him in here?
That's what's worrying me.
We are an elite death squad. Our strength will overpower him. Activate biosuits. Advance carefully.
What an awful way to go. Sorry, Roz. I kind of feel like we've let you down.
Oh no, you did your best. Some people just don't want to be helped.
Nothing's come out yet. Do you think he's dead?
Does that answer your question?
Blimey, it's like a human torch.
Only Martian.
Open fire!
Let's hope this machine's as good as Osgood said it was.
Well, with her, they usually are. He's a marvellous conversationalist, isn't he? Whoever he was before, that person is long gone.
Keep firing!
They're not holding him back. He's coming this way.
And more than that, he's scorching the pavement. Every step, he's scorching the pavement in central Australia. How's he doing that? How hot does he have to be?
I'm beginning to feel him from over here. That's how hot. Jackaneer, your weapons don't seem to be having any effect. If anything, they're strengthening him. You might want to retreat.
We are an elite Martian death squad.
I know.
We do not retreat.
All right, have it your way, but if you can't stand the heat...
We have contingencies. Activate the containment mesh.
Now that's what I call fishing for compliments. Well done.
If the net holds...
We've got to stop saying these things.
What do you think?
Certainly something to be working on. Did something just beep?
The scanner I gave Naomi. It's wired up to this computer.
So we've got a read on how big the explosion's going to be. Is it good news?
It looks like it might obliterate the whole state. And the ship.
Right. No, then.
Definitely not. And in only about 10 minutes' time. I need to tell Kate.
And what do I do? Anything I can help with?
Keep working on the antitoxin. If this is our best shot at solving that, we need to transmit the data before detonation, so we can get something out of this if it all goes up in smoke. Smoke?
We'll never touch it. Filthy stuff. But thanks.
No, I mean carbon monoxide. Harry, do we still need the sample of the toxin?
Open fire! Sharp!
How How long do you think that biosuit can hold up?
About as long as the van.
What's happening? Is he evaporating?
Jackaneer, you may want to reconsider that no-retreat policy of yours.
We never retreat.
Well, what about a tactical withdrawal?
You may be correct. Warriors, to the ship! Shut the doors.
What's that noise?
I think he's trying to burn through the hull. You need to take off, and fast.
Understood.
Kate!
Now, 1 second, Osgood.
If he can get through the hull, there's no way this ship's getting into space to dump him in orbit.
No, it's worse than that. Even if he could, he's not exactly going to be easy to carry.
Except he might be.
What?
All right, take off.
At least we're out of the way. For now.
Except the explosion's going to be big enough to destroy this ship and the entire Northern Territory. In about 6 minutes.
I see. So we'd better talk quickly. Jackaneer.
Kate Stewart. It appears we have failed. We must allow the detonation to proceed.
What? What happened to discretion?
The explosion will attract attention, but it will at least destroy the evidence.
Along with hundreds and thousands of people.
It is regrettable, but it is the only option.
No, it doesn't have to be.
You have an alternative stratagem.
I don't, but Osgood does.
Osgood, speak.
That toxin you were so generously helping us with.
What about it?
When it activates, it turns into this web-like substance, incredibly strong, very hard to destroy. You need a strong acid to get rid of it. That's the only thing that worked. The only thing.
You're saying it's heat resistant?
Yes. We tried burning it off. It did nothing.
What are you suggesting?
That we douse your rogue in the sample of the toxin. If we activate it and swamp him with the web, we might just be able to get him on board.
And keep him on board.
Long enough to get the ship into orbit.
Yeah, what they said. This stuff's all new to me.
To think, this is how it must end.
I should add that he's going to detonate in 5 minutes.
Yes. How do you activate this toxin?
It's triggered by carbon monoxide. Edinburgh had plenty, but the traffic here's a little less dense, and largely scarpering north.
So we're wondering if you might do the honours. All right, we need to get in as close as possible.
Understood.
You okay down there, Osgood?
I mean, basically, although I tend to prefer flying when the doors are closed.
Don't worry, I've got you!
It's a good view, though. When we're done here, we should do a swing by Uluru. I'm sure it'd be amazing.
And what about you, Harry?
I've got the antitoxin details saved to a stick thing. Not sure what it is.
Good, get to the loading bay.
On my way.
Then I think we're ready. Jackaneer?
Commence dive.
Hold tight. I only get one shot at this.
Keeping it steady!
Got him. Shut the door.
On it!
Shot absolutely on target, Mom.
Good work, Osgood. Jackaneer, the engines.
Venting carbon monoxide. Now.
Did we get the blighter?
Absolute bullseye!
And it looks like it's working. The web. It's swamping him.
Let's hope he's cool enough to handle.
Initiating landing procedure.
Understood.
You should depart with your colleagues.
I'm staying here.
The rogue is our problem, not yours.
The rogue would have killed many more of my people than yours, and may still break free to threaten you. Someone needs to monitor him.
I said...
I don't care. You could have abandoned us. I won't abandon you.
You are an honorable woman. You would be a good Martian.
It's still holding.
The web's not usually that shade of orange, though.
So I doubt we'll have long.
We don't have long anyway.
Stand back. Activating containment mesh.
Well, that's certainly having more effect this time.
Inside. You may launch.
Understood.
Wait, Kate's still in there.
She insisted. Pulled rank. She's making sure a biotar doesn't interfere with the flight.
Of course. The sort of thing her father would do.
We really should get moving.
Activate!
Pretty quick when it wants to be, eh?
But quick enough to get him into orbit and dump him.
Hard to calculate, but we think so. Hope so.
Can't be long now!
No! He was my pair bond.
What?
A biotar. The rogue. Him, a scientist of renown, and me, a great warrior. We were to be a good match.
I'm sorry!
I requested this mission personally. I would not have another destroy him.
I can understand that! But what's that?
That button. There.
The loading bay internal door! Its integrity is compromised. He's getting out. My apologies, but we need to eject him quickly, because if he breaks through before we've opened the airlock, we'll lose all air the moment we do.
I know.
How are we doing?
Getting closer.
I don't like the sound of that.
Any second. Now.
Any second.
Was that it?
Reckon so.
But did they get it out of the ship?
Come on, come on. There! Oh, get in!
They did it.
Success.
Is this thing on? Hello? Hello?
Speak. You can be heard.
Oh, good. Ice Warrior shuttle to Earth. The package has been disposed of. No casualties.
Oh, good show.
Oh, that was too close.
Thank you, Kate Stewart. Thank you, members of the Unified Intelligence Task Force.
Oh, not a problem.
It's quite all right.
Exactly.
Without your assistance, we would not have successfully completed our mission.
What can I say? We're good.
And without yours, we wouldn't have successfully completed ours.
Yes, I think the antitoxin is all but ready.
If the 11 tries to use the toxin again, we can deploy it straight away.
in the United Kingdom.
Yes, that's our home.
Do you wish us to take you there before we depart your world?
What? Oh, well, that's very kind of you.
It certainly cut down on time.
And time is rather of the essence currently.
Then it is agreed. We will set a course.
I mean, a plane would be an awful lot warmer.
But a much longer journey.
I'm already worried about what the 11's been up to while you've been away.
Yes, I know Josh has been minding the shop, but it would be good to get back.
The 11? That's this renegade Time Lord.
That's the one? I mean, it's not. It's the 11, but you know what I mean.
You two may be of use there as well. You'd better come with us.
Pity. I was rather enjoying that conference. And I'd quite fancied doing a bit of the tourist trail afterwards. Always wanted to see the Great Barrier Reef.
I'm sorry, Harry, but back home we're in crisis. I'm afraid that for now, we're going to have to put your plans on ice.
You have been listening to Unit Nemesis, Fire and Ice, written by John Dorney. Kate Stewart was played by Gemma Redgrave. Osgood, Ingrid Oliver. Harry Sullivan and Abiatar, Christopher Naylor. Naomi Cross, Eleanor Crooks. Ross Green and Jackanea, Olivia Poulet. Other roles played by members of the cast. Director Ken Bentley. Producers Emily Cook and David Richardson. Sound design and music, Howard Carter. Script editor, Andrew Smith. Executive producers, Nicholas Briggs and Jason Haig-Ellery.
I'm John Dorney, and I wrote Fire and Ice for Unit Nemesis Volume 1.
What's that noise?
You know, I'm not entirely... Get down!
My story is about ice warriors in Australia. I really liked the idea of taking the ice warriors who we're very used to and sending them somewhere hot. I always look for an angle, something that people haven't really seen before or heard before. My brain went through a few options of places to go, and eventually I opted to send them to Australia, largely on the basis that I am Australian. I have dual nationality. My father was from Newcastle in New South Wales, so it's a country I'm familiar with and have travelled through, which felt like it was a useful starting point. Not that I was really able to have any actual Australian characters or quite give the sense of scale of the Northern Territory to the story due to the pace required. And the character limits, but it was always the starting point. Was I really like the idea of just setting a story on Australia, just for for my own family, really.
It's a bit empty, isn't it, down there? And big. Deserts tend to be, I find. Well, they call it the Red Centre. I can see why. And there's a lot more of it to see. We're still a good half hour away. So much flying. Well, Australia is on the other side of the world.
And so thinking about that was led to me going, well, why would there be an ice warrior there? What's going on? How would ice warriors operate in a hot environment, and so on and so forth? It struck me as a potentially interesting area to be playing in.
By episode 2, Fire and Ice by John Dorney, we are suddenly in Australia, and Unit UK is working with Unit Australia, and I loved that. I loved the idea of these two teams coming together. To me, it felt a little bit like Unit's version of Avengers Assembled. It's Unit Assembled, and they're working together in an encounter with the Ice Warriors.
I think they spotted us!
Yes, I've got that feeling too.
And it's always exciting when classic monsters appear in Doctor Who stories, isn't it? So it was great to have the Ice Warriors. But also, speaking of Doctor Who's past, Harry Sullivan shows up, and I was so intrigued by that, how this character from Doctor Who's past is appearing in the 21st century. How does that happen? Of course it's Doctor Who, so anything can happen.
I'm Christopher Naylor, and I play Harry Sullivan. I suppose I'm very much the guy. The name's Harry Sullivan. Yes, well, playing Harry, it's an extraordinary situation for somebody like me who's a Doctor Who fan anyway. And so now I've done quite a few stories as Harry. I'm much more familiar with it, much more used to it, perhaps slightly less nervous about getting it right than I was at the start. But I always tend to watch a bit of Ian Marter beforehand just to try and have him in my head when we're recording. But, I'm not an impressionist, so it's always a question of trying to get the tone and the feeling of Harry rather than to do an accurate impersonation. It's a great thrill. I absolutely love it. And it's always so well written. They always manage to capture his style and his mannerisms so well. So, it's lovely. It's great fun.
Yeah, I think they're searching for us.
Also very likely. Well done. Now, hold on. Did you see? Are you still filming?
No.
In terms of preparation for my script, didn't really feel I had to do that much. I've obviously written 3 episodes for Unit before, so I'm quite familiar with the majority of the regular characters. Also, I was in the fortunate position of having script edited the entire first season of Harry and Naomi for the 4th Doctor adventure, so I was familiar with them quite strongly as well, which is, I think, one of the reasons why I was brought in to write this one.
Harry, fetch the stuff out of the back.
Right you are.
Stuff? Bedding, campfire. Don't know how long we'll have to hide out here. Oh, don't be too disappointed. It's a good story for your feed. I'm Eleanor Crooks, and I play Naomi Cross. She's very similar to myself, I think. She is balanced out really, really nicely by Harry's character, and she's very much like me. She kind of tends to think before she tends to speak before she thinks. That's where I was going with that one. So I can definitely relate to her when sort of her lines just come bursting out, but there's a lot of humour in those. So when it comes to like approaching how I play the character, it's very natural to kind of play, which is really nice. As well, the lines, I feel, kind of lend themselves to the way that I speak as well. So that's really, really great because it just comes out and it just sounds really, really effortless, because to be honest, it is. And that's like a credit to the writing. What's that? A plane?
What's it doing up there?
Getting in the way from the looks of it. And I don't know about you, but I ain't complaining.
I was very aware that this was going to be the first story for Naomi in particular, the first story that the audience hears. So I wanted to use that and play with that a bit and try and make sure she appears as, impressive a character as she is.
So this is my first Unit Nemesis script that I've worked on. So this is it's quite different because, well, for myself anyway, because I'm used to sort of reading in with the Doctor. So it's quite different. However, it's nice because there's still that playful element between my character and Harry. So it's still got all of those nice touches to it where they're sort of like playfully teasing each other, but then also working together really, really well. And yeah, no, I've really enjoyed reading the script.
Who are you people?
We're from the place you call when you find an alien out back, or, in this case, literally in the outback.
And Harry, I think, is entertaining in this one because we're still being a little bit vague about, how he's there, things like that. It's all slightly hinted at, but never explicitly stated.
We need Lieutenant Sullivan's help.
My, I seem to be popular these days. Still, it's good to feel wanted.
Yes, somewhat ironically, you are quite hot right now.
I'd already done a lot of research into Harry when I was prepping the season and watching lots of the old episodes, and even going so far as to read Harry Sullivan's War to get a relatively sensible idea of a relatively detailed idea of even what Ian Marter thought about the character, which was great fun to do. Really, that was a hugely entertaining book. Has to be said. It's like James Bond, but with a guy in it who's a little bit out of his depth.
It's a wonderful script. It's very sort of contained in just a couple of locations, and it doesn't stray too far, and it plays out in real time, pretty much, I think. So I love it, and John really, he gets his characters. He knows the characters and can inhabit them so easily and so well. And I really I spent a bit of time in Australia last year, and absolutely love it. It's a wonderful place, and I had hoped to go to the Red Centre, as they call it, when I had a bit of free time, and unfortunately our friend COVID put an end to that, but never mind, maybe one day I'll go back. So it was rather lovely to visit it through the pages of this script.
My name's Olivia Poulet, and I played Ros Green, the wannabe influencer who's always on her mobile phone and Instagramming, and also I played Jacernia, the Martian warrior.
Oh, no!
I know, they shot out the blasted tyre.
Well, it was a rental. Oh, I'll lose my deposit.
Yes, priorities, Miss Green. Speaking of which, will you stop filming?
No, this is gold dust.
With Ros Green, it was very straightforward, really. I've unfortunately met quite a few people like her who just want to get their voices out there on social media relentlessly. So that was quite easy. I didn't really need to do much research. But with Jacernia, the Martian warrior, I watched and listened to Adele Lynch's performance playing Iraxa in Doctor Who. She was playing the warrior, and it was very specific how she speaks and her the pace of her dialogue and her turn of phrase. So I watched and listened to as much of her as I could, and then brought that to the recording and got notes from the directors when I was going a bit off. But hopefully there's a sense of her there.
Initiating landing procedure.
Understood.
So when it comes to the Ice Warriors, I don't have any memory of seeing them on Doctor Who. However, it's very easy for me to be able to imagine them, and the fact that, because I can't necessarily imagine them without their sort of like armour on, because they're covered, aren't they? So I can see it in my head, and when I was reading the script, I can just see everything. It's like a movie playing in my mind. So I can see them, and I could see them with their big armour on, trying to keep everything cool.
We have arrived.
Oh, whoa, God, it must be warmer in there than it is out here.
We have found medical assistance.
I can't say I do have memories of seeing Ice Warriors and Unit Doctor Who before, but it was very exciting getting stuck in this time, and actually watching the clips I was sent for research made me want to go back and watch them, which is always good.
I do remember the Ice Warriors from when I was a boy. I was a bit too young to have seen them in John Pertwee's time. Well, was I? I mean, I was alive, so they may have sort of impinged on my consciousness at a very early age. But I certainly would have seen some repeats, I'm sure. And I had the Doctor Who monster book and that sort of thing. So the images of the Ice Warriors were very strongly in my head. Yes, they're in there somewhere.
I was asked to do an Ice Warrior, and my first thought was, well, what haven't people done with them before? And I think I'd had this idea, even suggesting it to a couple of people at times in the past, of doing Ice Warriors somewhere hot, which struck me as an unusual angle and not something people had done before. I'm always very keen for people to have new things to discover. But the opportunity to write dialogue for them is never to be underestimated. It's always a delight.
Commander, only 2 life forms now detected at target location.
And the third?
Heading swiftly in a southerly direction.
I really enjoyed the energy of a unit story. I was writing my script pretty much directly after having written some of the scripts for Dalek Universe, and I really like the idea of Harry being surrounded by all these impressively tough women as well, because he's again going to be completely out of his depth with his old school sexism, really. Always a bit old girl with people, and this is probably going to absolutely emphasise that trait in him.
Harry Sullivan, an actual companion of the Doctor. I've always wanted to meet him.
He's almost exactly what you'd expect. Trifle old school, perhaps, but that's understandable in the circumstances.
Unit seemed a very solid part of Doctor Who, even though by the time Tom turned up and by the time I properly faded into Doctor Who, he had pretty much left. But again, they would have shown repeats. I remember watching Robot and that kind of stuff, and the Brigadier particularly and Harry were very much a part of my childhood Doctor Who experience, so I was always very aware of Unit.
Found remote recording for Big Finish. On the whole, it's great and efficient. I actually did have a bit of a technical catastrophe during this particular production, but in this current circumstances and situation, it works remarkably well, and I don't think anyone will have any clue that we weren't all together. So yeah, I think Big Finish are making the best out of a bad situation, and I'm so glad they're carrying on generating work.
It's great recording remotely. I mean, we all feel sad, I suppose, in a sense that we can't all get together, because one of the wonderful things about Big Finish has always been being in the green room and meeting new people and sharing stories and sort of laughing over the microphone. And of course the lunches, everybody will say that. And it's rather lovely, the fact that people are phoning in from all over the world. I mean, literally all over the world. I mean, working with people in France and Hong Kong and zigzagging across the whole of the UK as well. So yeah, it's amazing what you can do these days, and it sounds incredible. And it's just lovely to be working at the moment. And to do something that you love. Yeah, wouldn't change it for the world.